Hi ladies, Angela here. I want to share with you today as a healthcare professional that has worked in the field of women's health for over 20 years, and I have an absolute passion for helping females just like you uncover the root cause of your hormone imbalance symptoms and actually help you get a plan that can help you restore your wellness long term. I myself struggled with hormone imbalance for many, many years. I struggled from things such as endometriosis to adenomyose to severe cramps leading up to my cycle and during, to severe brain fog and just absolutely catastrophic depletions in energy leading up to my cycle, mood swings at certain points in the month. I definitely thought that at one point I may have the classification of PMDD, although after going through the process of understanding this classification, I don't think I am in it. But the mood swings were so severe at one point that I thought I may be. So I, like you, have suffered from many different symptoms of hormone imbalance over the years, and it really took me understanding and uncovering the root cause of where those symptoms were coming from to get the balance back, not only in my hormones, but in my life. So I was really just kind of teetering on the line of making it in my life because my relationships were a mess at home with my family because my moods were all over the place. I had to cancel work all the time leading up to my cycle and during because I felt so crummy with cramps and bloating and just feeling really, really tired and brain fog, like I couldn't focus or do anything properly. So I know how much this can impact your life, but I also know that there is a way to get to the root cause of these symptoms and to find an answer. And for me, it took me years and years of bouncing around to different practitioners, different healthcare professionals, until I finally found something that worked. And for me, what worked was working with a functional medicine practitioner that really understood how to get to the root of all this. And so it really helped me to understand that's where I needed to go with my practice too. As I was working in my conventional practice over the years, I was realizing that what I was doing was helping a lot of women, but in some ways, some of the things that I was giving them with strategies were band-aids. They weren't actually fixing and healing the body for the long term. So what would often happen is women would come back to me over and over and over again with more or different symptoms that we had to treat. And they became frustrated over time, and so did I. Even though I was able to help them in the moment and help them possibly even for a few months, they would end up back in my office. And I would almost throw my hands up in the air and think, well, what do we do next? Do we refer you to another practitioner? Do I try something new? I've exhausted my toolkit here. There isn't anything else I can think of. But then once I went through the process of working with a functional medicine practitioner, got to the root cause of my problems, got the balance back in my hormones and overall health, and was able to live my best life again, I was then able to train as a functional medicine practitioner myself. And I have an absolute passion, and I just have so much empathy for women that are struggling with hormone imbalance because I know how it feels. And I know how much it can feel like it literally just ruins your life. But you don't have to live like that. There is a way to get the balance back, and we do have to dig deeper into what's going on in your body. It's no longer going to be enough to go to your practitioner locally and get some blood labs and see if anything turns up. You may have things out of balance, you may not, but at the end of the day, there really isn't a deep dived working plan to help you get better and feel better for the long term. We need to dive deeper. And so for this, when I work with clients, I always make sure that we are doing what's called functional labs. We need to really lift up the hood of the car and do some diagnostics and see what's wrong. So when we do functional labs, we can look at what is your nutrition status? This is so key. So many women are so depleted in so many essential nutrients that help them balance their hormones, and they have no idea that this is the case. So many women tell me they're eating a healthy, whole food, relatively balanced diet. They lead a relatively healthy, balanced lifestyle, yet they're still feeling terrible. They're having all those symptoms that I described: fatigue, brain fog, mood swings, bloating, cramping, uncomfortable, painful periods, heavy bleeding, terrible transitions into menopause with hot flashes, insomnia, mood swings, depression. I mean, it's all over the map. There can be like a laundry list of symptoms. So I know from working with women over the years, as well as understanding my own body and what I needed to learn, that nutrition is key. And it's not the same for everyone. It's not as simple as just saying, eat a healthy whole foods diet, try and eat foods that are anti-inflammatory instead of pro-inflammatory. It has to go deeper than that because we're all individuals, and some of us, even with our genetic makeup and predisposition, and I had to learn this about myself when I ran my health genetics, is that some of us have higher requirements for certain nutrients. Some of us have enzymes that aren't necessarily working as efficiently as other people's are, and so we require a higher amount of that same nutrient to get the same function out of our bodies. A great example of that is B12. So some people do have what's called methylation genetics. And so they actually do need higher requirements and a specific type of B12 coming into their body to allow them to methylate properly. And this is an absolutely essential part of balancing our hormones as females. So that's just one example of many. But when I work with women, we do the functional labs to look at your entire nutrient status. We look at all the vitamins and minerals. We look at the levels. We look at where they're at relative to where they should be. And we start figuring out the best way to start getting you nourished again. And this is one of the things that is the most powerful strategy that I have ever used to help women restore their hormone health and balance and help them eradicate their symptoms for the long term. And so if you are wondering what you could do, if you're wondering why you've been struggling despite trying to put some healthy lifestyle practices in place with your hormone imbalance symptoms, if you're struggling month after month, if you're having symptoms leading up to perimenopause or that transition into menopause, you're sluggish, you're tired, you're gaining weight, you have poor moods, it's maybe getting to the extreme where it's impacting your daily quality of life, I do want to let you know there is a way to get the balance back. There is a way to get the answers. We don't have to just live with this, put up with it, try and go to our primary practitioners and get something to just short-term put out the fire without really getting to the root cause of the problem. And if we do this, the symptoms come back over and over again. Best you're going to do is just subdue your symptoms with what you've been prescribed. So if you do want to learn more about this, if you think you may be interested in a little bit more information about what functional medicine is, how it could apply to you, and how it could help you with your hormone imbalance symptoms, please feel free to reach out to me. I do reserve the ability to have a complimentary call, which is free, so that we can get to know each other a little bit on that first call. We can talk about your health and your symptoms, and we can talk about if there is potentially a good fit for us to work together to help you with your symptoms and not just manage your symptoms and get you back to fine, but actually understand how could we return you back to optimal wellness? How can we get you feeling better than fine up here versus just kind of riding that fine line until one day you're not fine and you start to have this laundry list of symptoms. So there is a way to get the balance back. I'd love to connect with you. If you want to reach out to me, please feel free to go to my website, www.ca. There is a place there to book a complimentary consult, and there is also a contact link there if you want to send me a message ahead of time and potentially just let me know your top concerns and if we may think it's a good fit for us and a good time for us to book a complimentary consult and potentially move forward with your next steps. I'd love to help you if you are a woman who feels like you are frustrated, you've tried everything, you've been struggling with hormone imbalance symptoms for so long, you just don't know what to do next. I'd be happy to point you in the right direction and potentially work together with you if it's the right fit. Thanks so much for coming. Bye for now.